So welcome everyone to the workshop. My name is Bronwyn Chompff-Gliddon. I'd like to acknowledge that I'm presenting this workshop from Noongar country in Western Australia, and I pay my respects to the elders past and present of the Nala Kala Budja people. And I've packed a ton of really valuable information into this workshop, so we don't have a moment to waste. We'll get straight into it. I'm recording this workshop so that you can request access to it and you can refer back to it later on. And this is an interactive discussion. I've got you there, you've got your camera off, but you're welcome to raise your hand or use the chat box to ask questions as we go. Now, I offer these workshops as a way of providing value to small business owners and at the same time to build an audience for my business and the services I offer. There's no hard sell, but I will take a moment later on just to introduce what the services are that I offer. And if there's something that appeals to you, then that's great. And if not, no problem. I hope you enjoy the workshop. So we are making tough decisions with confidence and clarity. In this workshop, we'll be learning about a few of the things that I use in coaching sessions to help my clients to resolve indecision and move forward towards their goals. I also rely on the permaculture principles in my work, and I will explain how that works and how permaculture is so much more than just a gardening thing. So one of the main problems that I've seen, especially amongst small business and sole trader operators, is how crippling it is to be stuck with a tough decision that you just can't make, or even worse, is that brain freeze when you feel like you can't even make a simple decision. It can come from being overwhelmed, or perhaps there's so many variables that it's impossible to know how the other things are going to respond to the decision that you need to make. Or sometimes you can suffer from a decision overload, where your brain has just made so many decisions in that day, it's done, and it just calls time out and it shuts down. It happens. I get it myself. If I haven't already planned what I'm having for dinner, sometimes at the end of the day, I've made so many decisions that it's just, no, I'm not making one more decision. And, you know, it's really terrible. It really is a thing. Now, so the work that I do with small business owners has often involved dealing with overwhelm and indecision. And I've been really blessed to have been able to help many people find their way out of that state of being very confused and feeling really hopeless and helpless. And the way we can do this is there's this common coaching exercise to help navigate through this process of making your decision. This exercise focuses on your core values and your ultimate goal so that you can clearly see the options you have and how each one will either take you towards that goal or further away from it. So the way that this benefits you is that it eliminates the confusion and second guessing yourself. You'll have confidence to know that you're making the right decision, and you'll see very clearly how this will take you towards your ultimate goal, and that provides you with a really powerful sense of clarity. Imagine sailing through a storm, not knowing where you are, feeling really lost, and then you see the lighthouse, and suddenly everything is okay. You can do this. Remember, you're still in the storm, but just the fact that you can see where you need to go will offer a strong sense of reassurance. And as we make those decisions with confidence and clarity, it's the same thing. I've written an article about this process, which then inspired this workshop to demonstrate how it works. And so I'm just going to very quickly drop the link to this. Here it is. Sorry, my notes just went everywhere. I'm just going to drop a link to that. Here it is. They make it hard to see. I've just dropped a link to that article in the chat box if you wanted to open it up and then read it later. So why is it important to have confidence and clarity when you're making tough decisions? We make all kinds of decisions every day, all day, you decide what to eat, what to wear, who to talk to, or maybe you don't. This is where I'm going to share a picture. Okay, maybe you have someone who dictates to you what you eat, like maybe your partner or your doctor, or when you were a kid, it would have been your parents telling you what you have to eat. Maybe you didn't really like that. Maybe you have to wear a uniform all day, which means that you're not making that decision every day. Maybe all day you're receiving phone calls from people you don't actually want to talk to, and you don't get the time to talk to the people that you do want to talk to. Now, having autonomy or a level of self-governance or control in your life, that is actually a really core emotional need. We all need to feel a certain sense of being in charge of our life, and we get that feeling when we make decisions. Now, if you're making decisions amid confusion and conflicting pressures, it creates stress and even more conflict and confusion than before. And so you're not gaining any of that sense of autonomy. And so you feel forced into decisions, which is actually the opposite of what we're trying to achieve. By engaging a process of checking in with your core values, what you ultimately want to achieve, you start to take back that sense of autonomy and be in charge of the decisions that you're making. And so those decisions are made with a much higher sense of confidence and clarity. Now, as we go through this workshop, I know you're there, and you can ask your questions. I'm going to show you, just in case you're not familiar with Zoom and raising your hand. I'm going to get the hang of this eventually. So here at the bottom of the screen, you've got an icon there of reactions. And when you press on that, you've got reactions or you've got raise hand. And so if you raise your hand at any point in time, then that will alert me that you've raised your hand and you can ask your question. But if everything's good, then I hope you enjoy following along. You should all have your template document open that I sent to you with the Zoom link yesterday and then also this morning. And just in case anyone does not have that document open, I'm going to, let me just stop sharing so I can put this into the chat box. And there is your document that we're going to be running through. So when you open up this document, click File and then make a copy, or you can just download it to have an offline version. Now, the number one reason for you to complete this exercise is to be your most productive and successful self, your best self, to be making forward progress in your life and your career. There's a story that I really like about two men who decide to have a contest about who can chop the most firewood. It starts well, they're working at the same pace. Then one of the men, we'll call him George, he steps back from the pile of logs and disappears into the shed for a couple of minutes. The other man, Fred, he laughs to himself and he gets really excited because surely he's going to win this contest. George comes back after a few minutes and continues chopping wood. And then after about another hour, he does the same thing. He leaves the pile and goes into the shed for a few minutes. And Fred can't believe his luck. He's going to win this for sure. He hasn't wasted any time at all. He's been chopping nonstop for hours now. So they go throughout the day, and as the sun starts to get low in the sky, the contest ends. The men stand back and compare the piles of logs that they've chopped. To Fred's horror, George's pile of firewood is larger than his. He can't believe it. How can that be true? George looks at Fred and he shows him his axe and says, "Why didn't you stop to sharpen your axe? You were working harder to achieve less by chopping with a blunt axe." If you work and work and work without taking the time out to sharpen your axe, or to work on your business instead of in your business, or to refresh your energy and focus, it's the same as chopping firewood with a blunt axe. You will waste more energy getting less done. You can see this all around you when you look at people who have been going around and around in circles. They're always busy, always doing something, but not actually going anywhere. You need to regularly pause, take stock of your situation, realign or rechart the path of your journey towards your ultimate goal. Once you know with certainty what your goal is, you will have so much more confidence and clarity in the decisions that you make. Working with a support person, like a coach, will help you to develop that clarity to first define what your core purpose is, your ultimate goal, and then chart the course of how to make it happen, just one step at a time. So let's get into completing this. I'm going to bring up my template, my document that I've shared with you. So we'll just go through this one step at a time. Now, step one is remove yourself from the everyday pressures and find a quiet, calm, and positive space to clear your head and step away from being in the situation to being able to see the situation from a more external point of view. Now, in this space here, you can write some notes of where you like to go, what you like to do. So you have a favorite spot. It might be in the garden, it might be at your desk. For a certain period of time, my happy place was my bed, especially when I got like, brand new sheets and everything was really nice and pretty. But if you find that favorite spot where you can just feel positive, clear your head. Perhaps there's a very calming piece of music that you can listen to that helps to clear your head. I know I've got a few favorites, but really take a moment to stop all the chatter in your head. And there's one coaching educator that has been really influential. And so he talks about labeling, pay attention to what is in your head and label it. And then once you label it and identify it, say, no, just like basically put a pin in it. Just not that thought pattern, that's that train of thought, just park it for a minute. And so you want to park all that chatter that's going on in your head and be able to just clear your head and focus on being present in yourself. Check in with your body, with how you're feeling. Check in with your breathing, with your heart rate. Check in with just your sense of touch, and just rub two fingers together and just pay attention to how that feels. Okay, so this is actually this second step, connecting with your inner self. Now that we're going to look at now. So connect with your inner self, and what are the values that motivate you? What is your higher purpose? What is the essence of you? What are your priorities? What are the things that are most important? And a good process to picture this, so I guess to identify this, is if you can imagine yourself on your 80th birthday, and imagine that a newspaper reporter has come to interview you on your 80th birthday, and they're saying, how does it feel to be the most successful blank? And then you fill in the blank. What do you want to be remembered for? What do you want to be celebrated for? When on your 80th birthday, when you can look back at all of the things that you've accomplished, and what are the things that stand out to you as being most important? That's what we're checking in with. That's what we are realigning ourselves to chart towards. Okay, now, so here we want, if I'm gonna, let's see, if I'm going to make a few notes here to connect with your inner self. So we want values, priorities. Well, what are mine? My highest values and priorities is living in harmony with the earth. I'll talk a bit more about that later on. Another one of my really core priorities is family. I am a mother of 4, and I've always said that being a mother, absolutely hands down, always will be the most important thing I'll ever do. It's not the only thing I do. I do lots of things, but absolutely being a mother is the most important ever. And ultimate goals. So I want to, for my ultimate goal, I'm living it now, but helping small businesses to be sustainable and viable. And that, to address the sustainability crisis. That would be great to really see some forward movement there. Okay. But it's not about me. These are just my examples. But you write whatever is important to you. All right, step 3, we're going to bring to mind the situation that you're dealing with. Now, this can be literally anything. It depends if you have a decision that you need to make now that's a really tough decision. Or maybe this is just about learning a process for when the time comes that you need to make a tough decision. So the decision that you're dealing with, there's going to be external boundaries. There are going to be things that you cannot change. So you have the actions of other people. You have legislation. We have to do things that are within the bounds of law. We have financial constraints. It would be great if we could just sort of solve all our problems just by having an extra $1 million or $2 million, but that's not always possible. And so if the decision that you're making involves finances of some sort, it's important to know what those boundaries are and what those limitations are. And so in this step, we're just exploring those things that you do not have any control over. These are your external boundaries. They're outside of your control, and we need to find a path forward within these boundaries and constraints. So one thing that I've got mentioned there in the question is sometimes when faced with a difficult situation, we wish for an option that isn't there. We wish for, like, oh, wouldn't it be great if I had $1 million? And the fact is that you don't. So stop wishing for it, because that's just wasted energy. So get rid of all of those impossible things that you don't have, and you're not going to have them just by wishing it happen. Look at what you have and work with that. And so that's step 4. Now we're looking at the things that are within your control. You are in control of your actions. You are in control of your attitude. You are in control of your focus. There are things that you can do. There are things that you are able to make happen. There are things that are within your abilities. You have your skills, built perfectly, of course. And you have the things that are options that are available to you. So what are the options? Now, of course, this is going to change quite a lot depending on the actual decision that you're making. And what we want to do, though, is create this creative process of brainstorming. And with brainstorming, you're thinking of all these possibilities that might be possible. And it's really important not to evaluate any of them at this point in time. If you start evaluating every idea that you get, you're going to kill that creativity. So go wild, go big, any idea that comes to your mind, sure, yeah, let's put that on the list. It doesn't mean that you're going to do it. It means that you're allowing this creativity to flourish. Now, I might just make a pause right about here because, this is something that is really critical in this process of making your decisions with confidence and clarity, is this brainstorming, a creative process. So I'll give you a minute to keep working on this if you need it. But before we continue, I'm going to pause that and take a moment to share with you how I came to be here today, talking about making tough decisions with confidence and clarity. And you can keep working on this if you need to while I tell this little story. I'm just going to stop sharing for just a minute. But I used to be a regular person, just like any next door neighbor. This is going back, a fair while. I was running this tidy little bookkeeping business. I was contributing my little bit to the family income. And then it was about 10 years ago that I got this idea. I can do something more. I can offer more to my clients. And so I'm pursuing all these options that are available to me. I'm trying and failing at lots of different things. I tried putting together an online course. And the idea was good, but I just couldn't quite make it work. And then tried to do like a research study into like being organized and productive. And the content was good, but just still couldn't quite make it work. Nothing was really moving forward. Have you ever felt like that? It was insanely frustrating. When you're just trying and there's just obstacles and roadblocks every single step of the way, and it's just doesn't matter what you do, it's just not working. I wonder if you've felt like that in the past yourself. And then I hit a really low point, and I had to completely, literally put my life back together from the ground up. And it was around about at this time when I discovered coaching. I signed up to learn how to become a coach. That was the single most emotional business decision I'd ever made. I knew I just had to do this. I took action and I used my mortgage money to pay the deposit on this training. And I've totally freaked out. I instantly burst into tears because I was as terrified as I was inspired and motivated. Have you ever taken that leap of faith into something? Just jump into the unknown and just brace yourself. Just trust and hope that it's going to work out. I thought it cost too much and that I couldn't afford it, but I committed to it anyway. And I found the money. And that decision was the start of this wonderful, beautiful journey that I've been on. So the process to learn how to become a coach means that you go through that whole coaching process yourself. And for me, that was a process of healing and self-discovery, identity, forgiveness, growth, vision, love. It was infinitely exactly what I needed right at that time. And it completely strengthened my faith in God, my faith in everything that was important to me. And so I have a little exciting picture to share here. So it was at that time that where's my mouse gone? There it is. I remarried. And as luck would have it, today is our wedding anniversary. So happy anniversary to me and my husband. Just wanted to throw that in just because today's pretty special. But that coaching and healing process put me back in touch with my 6-year-old self, who was at that time completely in love with the earth and all of nature. I've always been a bit of a hippie at heart, but everything was now front and center. And I've always had this very deep reverence for the earth and a profound gratitude that everything that humans need for health and happiness comes from the earth. So now I'm working as a coach. And given my background in small business support and bookkeeping, it made sense to become a business coach. Only I had this now raging passion for living in harmony with the earth. And it felt like my passion wasn't completely aligned with my profession. It was a little kind of a disconnect. Now, not that they were opposites, but when something's just not quite right, it's a bit off, like a bit like having a stone in your shoe that you just can't budge. But in my journey to discover my nature-loving self, I stumbled onto hearing about permaculture. And so I signed up to complete a PDC, which is a permaculture design certificate, without really knowing exactly what it was. I just knew I had to do it to be true to my authentic self. But the way it turned out was that every moment of every module of that course reinforced to me that this is what I've been wanting to do my whole life. I just never knew what it was called. Permaculture is this design framework of using the power of nature to benefit human life. It uses the wisdom of ancient cultures to work with nature, not against it. It strives to live in harmony with the earth and maintain the natural order of things. Permaculture starts with growing your own food, but the concepts, the principles, the ethics, the philosophies, they apply to every aspect of life in society, including livelihood and even running a business. And so I began to see the business wisdom that can be found in the permaculture principles. And I developed this understanding of how to help a small business run the way Mother Nature would want the business to be run. And so this is it. This is that connection I've been trying to make to really move forward as both a business coach and also a permaculture activist. And so I can use the platform of business coaching to spread the movement of permaculture and make a really positive impact in the world we live in. So I've now dedicated my life and my career to promoting the movement towards sustainability in the small business sector through permaculture business coaching, permaculture business plans, conducting sustainability assessments, and helping one little business at a time achieve true balance and harmony and self-sufficiency and fulfillment, which in my books is sustainability. I am a bridge between business and permaculture towards sustainability and viability, where viability is running a business well so that it is a long-term and dependable source of income for your family, without burning out, without losing your personal life, without the trial and error and stumbling onto the right answer, just doing it right the first time. Sustainability is running a business well so that it is kind to the environment and it makes a positive impact and turning the tide of the collective impact of small business on the environment. Now, I really love how this understanding of permaculture combined with decades of experience in small business support has provided this opportunity to help you create a truly sustainable business. Okay, now, so having shared all of that about who I am and what I do, we're going back now to listing the things that are in your control. And if I use that example that I just shared before of how I came to understand my true identity, my core purpose, that option of signing up to do a coaching course, that would not have been an option for me. That would not have been something that I had thought of if I had not gone through that process of really looking at and focusing on who I am and taking that leap of faith really made that possible to say that this is a possibility, this is a way forward, something that I hadn't thought of before. So that's where it's really important to get really in touch with yourself and what's really important to you. And maybe the decision you're making isn't a life-changing transformation like becoming a coach the way it was for me. Maybe you're just trying to decide, in your business or in your life between, two things that are pretty important and you don't want to stuff it up. But, no one's going to die because of it if you make the wrong choice. So even then, it is still important to get creative on the options that are available to you, the ideas, and really we're looking for innovation. That innovation, once you tap into your core essence and become very curious, let's put that curiosity above the innovation. Curiosity, as you feed that curiosity of just becoming fascinated with what's possible, what is possible to achieve, what is possible, what is available to me, what have we not thought of before? That leads to that innovation of, well, we can try this, or we can try something else. You want to get as many ideas down as you possibly can, these crazy ideas, and you know straight away, these are crazy ideas. But remember, we are not evaluating any of those ideas right now. We're just getting them out and brainstorming all of the possibilities of what could happen. All right, now we move on to the next step. So we've got these crazy ideas. You want to have at least, like 50 crazy ideas, and make a short list of a couple. Just a couple of this is where, all right, now to make this short list, this is where we go through the crazy ideas, and of these, which ones stand out to you to be the ones that will take you towards your ultimate goal? Remember your 80-year-old self and the things that you want to be remembered and celebrated for. What is so important to you, and what are the things in front of you that will take you one step closer to that? Now, follow the chain of events and consider how that will go. If you have a really clear definition, a very clear picture, an image of what it is that you want to be remembered for when you're 80 years old, those things that will take you closer to that will become more clear. They will reveal themselves to you. So can you make a connection between each option that you're looking at and your higher goal, your higher purpose, your ultimate goal? Will it take you closer to that or further away? And work out how it would do that. You want to make about 20 connections of how this choice is going to, down the track, equal this end goal. And if you can do that, then that makes it really clear how to make that happen. Now, the next step here is to anticipate the possible challenges and obstacles that you will face. We've already looked at the external obstacles, the boundaries that we have to live within, like, keeping within the law and within our financial constraints, and the other elements that are outside of our control. But more importantly, we want to go internal. One thing that I find time and time again in coaching is that the obstacles that are preventing someone from moving forward in the pursuit that they're trying to pursue, it's often internal. It's in our own head. It's our own limiting beliefs. It's our fears. It's our procrastination and what's behind that procrastination. It is very often those things that are very powerfully stopping you from doing what you want to do. Now, the beautiful thing about this step and these internal obstacles is that once you identify them, equals, they lose their power. If you have a fear of being judged by others, that fear will create this narrative in your head of, oh, I can't do that because what if someone doesn't like it? And that's a really big fear. And that is if you identify that fear, okay, that is a fear, and it's not a fact, it's not reality, it is a fear. And if you can identify that is a fear, then you've already taken away its power, or restricted its power over you. Because making decisions based on fear very seldomly are the best decisions to make. We want to be connecting with those core purposes, with those golden values that we have. The decisions made and based on those higher values are those decisions that are best for us. And so in this process of weighing up the options and trying to make a decision, when you have an obstacle or a motivation to make a certain choice based on fear, as soon as you recognize that it is a fear, you have disarmed its ability to control you. So what you can do is create strategies to now plan and preempt and be proactive in how to address those obstacles when they come. So if you, for example, if we're worrying about what other people might think, all right, if we know that that's a thing, and if we know that that's a fear, and that is something that holds us back from doing a lot of stuff, we can get creative with that. Okay, well, I know that that's a thing. So what I can do when that happens, I can remind myself of all of the things I've done. I can check in with my mum, who loves me unconditionally. Did I spell that right? No, I didn't. Oh my goodness. That is important. It doesn't matter. Yeah, and so there are things that you can do to address and fight off those fears. And if you plan and preempt them, when that happens, you go, right, okay, no, I've got the tool ready for that. And so its power is really diminished. Okay, how are we going? So I hope you're getting value from this workshop so far. As I mentioned earlier, I would be really honored to have an opportunity to explore how I can perhaps help you in your business. So I'm going to take a moment now to share with you the services that I offer. So we're going to stop sharing that and now start sharing. This is one of the programs that I offer is an online mastermind group. So this is a once a month. It's either in Western Australian time, Monday 9 a.m. or Tuesday 7 p.m. or Friday 12 p.m. just on one day each month. And this is a group. It's up to 12 people, and so it's a very very intimate group where I facilitate this group, and we follow a coaching process, but it's in a group setting. It's still quite very different to the one-on-one coaching, but you can connect with other business owners, and that's a really valuable thing where you can present an idea or a problem, and you can get up to 11 other brains working on that problem and brainstorming it like we did there. But imagine doing that brainstorming session that we did just before. We're getting all of these other people and their experience and their perspectives, and it's so beautiful to get to get the kind of ideas that come from other people. And you don't have to take any of that advice on board, but it's good to just explore what this mastermind can suggest. And so I facilitate this, and we do use coaching exercises similar to the ones that we're doing now in this workshop. And so this online mastermind group is $55 a month, and you just book through the website, which I will share at the end of sharing these programs that I run. The next program that I run is one-on-one coaching. And so this is your traditional coaching where it's I do it over the phone. I don't do Zoom or in person. And I do that very deliberately because over the phone, you're able to focus a lot better. You know, when you're doing it in person or over a Zoom call, you have so many visual distractions. But when I'm just simply a voice in your head through a phone receiver, you can just close your eyes and just be completely present in the session. And you know, I really personally believe that everyone on the planet should have a coach. The process is just that powerful. I would be lost without my coach. We actually take turns coaching each other, which is really cool. Usually one session a month is all that's needed for a good, sustainable progress. But if you find that your situation is a little more intense, then you can do 2 or even 4 sessions a month. And I have, you know, discounted sessions for doing multiple within the same month. But a once a month coaching session is $165. So the way a coaching session works is I ask you thought-provoking questions. I'm not telling you what to do. I do have the experience of, you know, decades of small business support, and so I can understand what you're going through, and I can understand the situation that you're in. But I don't tell you what to do to run your business. I help you find that answer for yourself, the answer that's best for you, because you know your business, you know your life. I'm just helping you find the way forward. The next thing that I offer is business plans. And so if you don't have a business plan, oh my goodness, please get one. Please write one now. They are so powerful in their ability to really move forward, instead of just that going around in circles that we talked about earlier. So if you do have a business plan, when was the last time you updated it? A business plan is a living document, and I do the same with mine. I'm constantly, regularly updating and refining and just making it always up to date. You can get free templates from government websites, but the ones that I do, I have a little twist where I weave in these permaculture principles and that business wisdom that I was talking about before into the framework of your business. And so the way that we do this is it's a Zoom meeting that we do once a week for, I'm going to say 4 weeks, but it depends on the business. The anticipated is over the course of 4 weeks. We have a meeting, we talk about everything that's important to you, everything that needs to be in the business plan, and then I go away and I do all the, you know, fleshing out the bones that we put together when in our sessions. And then after 4 weeks, ideally, you know, there's a allowance there for, you know, every business is different, but that's the goal, to have it finished within 4 weeks. And also every step of the way, you have access to the plan, how it's developing, and it means that you can get on with your day-to-day business of running your business, but you're still in touch with how this is coming along. And then at the end, I present it to you, how to keep it updated, how to check in and make the most of it. One of the beautiful things that I've found with a business plan is, especially when people have come from a job into running their own business, is they find that transition really hard in terms of they don't have a boss telling them what to do anymore. And so that accountability to a boss, when it's not there anymore, they find it really hard to have that accountability to themselves. And so those actions and those tasks and those things that need to be done, it's harder to get those done. Having a business plan becomes your boss. Your business plan charts out where you're going and all of those things that you need to do, all those steps and tasks and everything, all those deadlines, that pattern, that system, to make sure that you would actually achieve what you want to achieve. And so what that means is you can actually accomplish that. The next service that I offer is, the price. So business plan development. It depends on the size of the business, of course, but as an example, for a business that has a turnover of up to $300,000 and up to 2 employees, not including the business owners, that price is $1,650, and there is a payment plan available as well. And finally, we have the sustainability assessment. Now, this is designed for a mainstream business who wants to be more sustainable, wants to take responsibility for the impact that they are having on the environment. We have over 2 million small businesses in Australia, and so if every single one of them says, well, I'm too small to make that much of a difference, you can see that that collective impact actually has quite a significant impact on the environment. And so this sustainability assessment is the process of going through all of the individual aspects of your business and looking at making observations of what is happening and what is the impact on the environment. We use an impact matrix, very similar to like a risk matrix that you would do. And this process helps to really identify opportunities of things that you can do a little bit better. It's that 1%, it's that getting the ball rolling. And these are designed to be a quarterly event that you work in with your normal quarterly reporting and review. And just to keep that process rolling to just do better and to be more sustainable. Now, if you're not ready, sorry, the price for the sustainability assessment is $297. It is a 2-hour Zoom call that we would do once every 3 months. And if you're not ready for any of these, you can sign up for the newsletter and the monthly blog articles, and also make use of the free resources that I offer on the website. There's costing and pricing, there's cash flow, there's this template here that we're working on today with how to make decisions with confidence and clarity. And these are resources that are focused on being relevant to small businesses and things that you can use in your business immediately. So I'm really grateful for your time in spending this time with me, and I hope that you've been able to find value in the worksheet that we've been working on today. And so just going to finish up back on the template. We're up to the last step. So now that you have pursued the exercise, the path before you could now be much clearer. You might be able to see very clearly what needs to be done, and so the choices you need to make become very easy to make. You will no longer doubt yourself. You will be confident and you will act with sharp clarity. And so in this section here, what you would be writing is appreciation. Write out here all of the things that you appreciate about your ability to see your goal. You can write out what your goal is. You can write out what the way forward is going to be, how this decision that you're making now is going to start this chain of events of reaching your ultimate goal. So it's now, having gone through this, I get that there are people who are still going to be fairly skeptical. And I really, I guess, would like to challenge these critics and the doubters by saying there's only one way that you're going to really prove if it works or not. It's very easy to say, oh, it's not going to work, but have you put it to the test? And so these are a few things that people that I've worked with have said about working with me. So Eugene, he says, I recommend Bronwyn's coaching to anyone who believes in what they're doing, but is struggling to see the financial return or is getting stuck in the quagmire of business admin. Or then there's this one, Marina. She says she's really benefited our business to get it done properly. Shelley, I've worked with Shelley since 2005. And she says, I couldn't run the business without Bronwyn, her knowledge and solutions. She's there for me. I love the woman. I love you too, Shelley. Thank you. It's so nice to receive this feedback and get these testimonials. There was a really cool exercise that I did in asking my clients if they would share. And, you know, keep in mind that these clients, all the work that I do is highly confidential. And so for them to willingly share, you know, the results they've made and share the what they think of this, it's really means a lot to me, because I can't be, you know, telling everyone the results that people have been getting. It's totally not my place to say. Then there's Wayne, who's an arborist, and he said Bronwyn's coaching encourages you to dig deep, to challenge the negative experiences you think and feel about business or life. She allows you to explore, to awaken the answers that you already have, but have not yet realized. It's a welcoming transformation of learnings and reward. And so I'm very grateful to Wayne for that as well. Roberta says, I have recommended her to several other businesses, including my friends, when I hear that they are struggling with their businesses, like building too quickly or no systems in place, feeling overwhelmed, because I know she can make a difference. Thank you, Bronwyn. Thank you, Roberta. Sorry, another one, there's Declan. So Declan says that I feel like the progress we are making in the sessions is rolling very naturally. When I'm starting to hit certain feelings and barriers, those things are addressed in the next session. And yes, that's all of them now. Okay, so thank you for letting me share those testimonials with you. The people that have worked with me, they have found that it does work, it does help. You might think that it won't work for you. And again, I say there is only one way to know for sure, and that's try it. You might think it costs too much. Well, I have deliberately kept my prices very modest in relation to the competition, I guess, what other people are charging for these services. And that's because I understand that cash flow is a significant concern for small businesses. And so the prices that I've set, the $55 for the online mastermind group, the $165 for a once a month coaching session, the $297 for the sustainability assessment, or the $1650 for a really comprehensive business plan, they're actually really quite reasonable and affordable. And I don't want the cost of something to be the only barrier that stands in the way. And so there's payment plans that are available, and just get in touch. If that's the only thing holding you back, let's make something work. You might think that you can wait, that you don't need this right now. I would suggest, well, let's take this situation that you're in right now and fast forward 12 months of nothing changing and nothing improving. What does that 12 months from now look like? And is that okay? The things that we do now impact our future. And it reminds me of this saying, the very best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago. And the next best time to plant a tree is today. Don't wait any longer, just do it now. So you might feel that this is too difficult. And really, I say it's easier than you may think. The biggest obstacle is your own fears and negative beliefs. And if you feel like you can't make this decision on your own, I'd encourage you to really check in with what's really important to you and who else has that power to determine what's best for you. So I encourage you to book a free chat with me to discuss your situation. I've dropped a link into the chat box to book a session with me. And this is a free one-on-one just to get to know you and for you to get to know me and just see if there's anything that I can offer that may help you. And perhaps there's something else that we can explore. I love developing collaborations. If you're customers are other businesses, perhaps there's something that I can offer to value add to your services. I like getting creative. I like exploring and just thinking, what if, we could go crazy. But here we are at the end of our workshop. And so I want to just quickly check in with the steps that we follow in this exercise. Remove yourself to a quiet and positive space. Connect with your inner self, your values, your priorities. Recognize the external boundaries that you need to work within. Explore all of the things that are within your control, and get crazy and get creative with brainstorming. Make a short list of plausible options and see if you can chart a course towards your ultimate goal. Recognize the potential obstacles and the challenges that you will face, and plan how you will overcome those challenges. And then finally, trust that you are acting in alignment to your core values. Recognize and appreciate the confidence and the clarity you feel. So now it's time to check in with you. I really want to know, have you gotten any value out of this workshop? In the chat box, I've just dropped a link to the feedback form. And I would really appreciate if you could share how you found the workshop and how I might make it better in future workshops. But let's not let this be the end of our connection. We've only just begun. And so I'll send you an email after the workshop, and I really hope to hear back from you, and let's continue this conversation. Thank you so much for attending. I truly appreciate your time, and I hope to see you again soon. Until we meet again, may your business be prosperous, may your family be supportive, and may the pathway before you be clear towards your goals. Bye for now.